Hello, everybody. Welcome to this brief tutorial on taking a class with VUB using our live online system, Moodle. And so there's two components to this. The first component is accessing Moodle and identifying the various parts of the Moodle system. And then the second area is using Google Meet to log in and participate in classes. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with logging into Moodle. So let's see here. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is open up a browser. And, the best browser to use is Google Chrome. And the reason for that is it receives regular updates. And we use a lot of Google features and apps with our online program. And Google products and services work really well together. So I highly recommend that you use Google Chrome. So go ahead and open up a Google Chrome session. And then in the address bar at the top, we are going to type in Moodle, moodle.vubmt.com, and then press enter. Okay, and now at the top right is the login link. So we're going to click on that. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, notice that it says, is this the first time you're here? And it gives us some directions. So username, we're going to put in your email account. So for this example, I'm going to type in Michael, if I can spell, michael.wolf@vubmt.com. And then our temporary password, as it's indicated down here, is password with a capital P, the @ symbol, and 123. So we will go ahead and put that in. And then we will click on login. Now, the first time that you log in, Moodle is going to require that you change your password. So what we will do here is we will put in that temporary password. So that's password, the @ symbol, 123, and the P in password must be capitalized. And then from here, we can go ahead and choose anything that we'd like. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click save. And it will pop up and let you know that your password has been changed. There is the option to save your password. Google will remember that if you like. I don't recommend it, but it is something that you can go ahead and do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the continue button here. And we are now successfully logged in. And the way that we can tell is we can look at the top right, and it has my name, and it indicates that I am a student. Now, if we had any alerts or messages, they'll appear up here. They'll be highlighted in a different color other than the standard dark gray here. All right. If I click on this drop down here, then I can go in here and I can go to my dashboard, which we will cover in a moment. I can go in here and go to my profile, and I can update my information. Maybe my email has changed, or maybe my phone number has changed, or something of that nature. We do automatically put in your email and your phone number so that if you're struggling, your instructors can easily reach out to you. We can go ahead and click on grades and take a look at a summary of our grades. And that is only if your instructor has decided to share that information with you. I believe most of our instructors leave the default setting, meaning they don't restrict access to that. Again, with VUB, you know, all of our classes are free. We don't give out grades, but this is a nice way to go in and take a look at if this were a college level class and you were to be getting a grade, where would you stand? And so this is where you can go and take a look at that. Okay, the next option is messages. So, you know, again, this is another shortcut where you can go and check your messages. Then we have preferences, and you can go in and you can make different changes in here. And I encourage you, take a little bit of time and check these out. We don't have time to go over that in this video, but, you know, go in there and take a look at it. And then the last option in this menu is to log out. And when you are done working in Moodle, you should always log out. The system will log you out automatically after some time, but it's good to get into a habit of logging out yourself. If you were at, we'll say, the public library using a computer, and you step away to go to the bathroom or you just need to leave, if you haven't logged out, somebody has access to your account, and we don't want that. Okay, so this screen is divided into three sections. We have the left pane, and the left pane is our navigation menu. So this is where we can go to home, and this is our home screen, okay? Then we can go to our dashboard, our calendar, private files, and my courses, okay? So let's take a look at our dashboard. So if we click on dashboard, this is going to show us the classes that we are currently enrolled in. It is also going to give us information pertaining to those classes. So if we scroll down here a little bit, we can see that I'm enrolled in Introduction to College Writing Fall 2021. And down here it shows that I have 0% completed. All right. So then if I go over to the right-hand side to the navigation bar on the right here, under timeline, it tells me that I have an assignment here for commas and apostrophes. It's a worksheet, and it is due on October 19th. So it's a nice little reminder. And we'll get into our classes and homework after a bit. So the dashboard is really a summary of what our participation in Moodle is looking like. It will display in course overview all of our classes that we're enrolled in, and then up here under timeline, just a brief summary of what work needs to be completed. All right, so I'm going to go over here and click on calendar on the left navigation bar. And the calendar is not really used a whole lot, but you can go in here, and this pertains to all of your classes. So for example, on the 13th, which is today, I have a pre-assessment that is due, and it opens today. And then if I go down and take a look, the post-assessment is due on 11/7, okay? And then if we go back down, and I'm just hovering over these entries here, on the 19th, it tells me that commas and apostrophes worksheet is due, okay? And then if I go over here to the 20th and hover over this, it says that a draft of introductory paragraph is due on that day as well. So we can go in here and let's go move forward to the month of November, and it tells me all the due dates for my work. So it's kind of handy. And I can click on, so let's see, I'm going to go back here, and I can click on, for example, this pre-assessment here. And if I click on it, it's going to give me a description of what this is, when it opened. So it opened on Wednesday, October 13th at 9 a.m. And it tells me that this assessment will take about 20 minutes or less, and tells me the class that it's for. And then I can go ahead and I can click on the link right here to go right into that quiz and take it. Okay, I'm not going to do that just yet. Private files, these are all the files that I've submitted during the course of my participation in my classes. So right now, because today is the first day of our classes, nothing is in there. Most students don't worry about this area. I wouldn't rely on Moodle keeping track of your files. You should always save them on your computer, and you should also save that information on a flash drive just in case your computer crashes. And then if we click on My Courses down here, no, it's not going to let us do that. So what we will do here is I'm going to click on Home. Okay. And then if I go to the middle column here, these are the upcoming classes for Veterans Upward Bound. So the classes for the 13th, they all show here. And if I go down and take a look at the 14th, here are all those classes, and I can scroll through, and it gives you a summary of a week at a time of what classes are available. If I keep scrolling down, I can take a look at any View Be Online announcements that were posted to Moodle. And then I also have my courses. So I just have one course in here for Introduction to College Writing. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll back up a little bit, and I'm going to take a look at the information located on the navigation bar on the right side. So upcoming events, again, this is going to tell me what I have coming up that's due in my classes, okay? And then I scroll down and we have a main menu. So this first section, login links. If you have a VUB email account, here's a shortcut. If you use Google Mail or Gmail, here's a shortcut for Google Docs. For our delivery system for our live online classes, we use Google Meet. So there is a direct shortcut here, and we will talk about that after a while. And then here's a link for Microsoft Office Online. This is for their free accounts, and their free accounts are just very bare bone features for Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and so forth. If you don't have Microsoft Office on your computer, this is a limited edition that you can use to get you by until you're ready to go to college and take classes for credit. Going down, we have course tools. And so these are some of the popular websites that instructors use in their classes. So for example, some instructors use GCF Learning. We have the Google Digital Literacy Skills website, Google Jam, Kahoot, Khan Academy, YouTube. And then the next section is downloads. So if you have an instructor that says, hey, we use Adobe a lot, or I need you to go and log into Moodle, and under the download section, download this particular software. So some instructors ask that you use Adobe Reader. Some use Google Chrome, Grammarly, iTunes, Microsoft Edge, TeamViewer, and last, VLC Media Player. You don't need to download these unless your instructor specifically tells you to come here and download them. And the last section that we have is student support. So we have a few links here that are helpful in using Moodle and just your time taking classes with VUB. So we have a link here for the online announcements. So if, for example, If we are canceling class because, let's say, there's an internet outage in our area that prevents us from delivering our classes, then we will post a message here. Maybe the roads are difficult and the instructor can't make it to campus to present their materials live online. Then we would put a message out here. And any messages that are posted here should go to your email account that is associated with your VUB application here. And that is how you log in into Moodle. The next information that we have here, or the link, is live online audio video information. So that is a resource where you can go and just take a look at how the Google Meet and how Moodle, how the two of them are working together, and make sure that your computer is going to work appropriately with that. So we ask all our students under the student support section, make sure you go through these areas so that you're familiar with it and that your computer will work properly. The next shortcut here is Moodle Video for Students. Very similar to this tutorial that you're viewing, but this is done by another university in another state, and they've done a really nice job of putting a brief tutorial together. And even though you're watching this, I suggest that you take a look at this other tutorial in here because it has good information in there. And then the last shortcut that we have is directions on how to create a free Microsoft Office online account. So if you're taking a computer class with us and the instructor says, hey, you need to register for a free Microsoft Office account, this is where you would go to find out how to do that. And if you're not sure how to, after looking at these resources and you're still not sure how to do that task, creating that account or making sure that your computer is going to work properly with Moodle and Google Meets, you can reach out to your instructors, you can reach out to VUB Tech Support, and we will go through that material with you to make sure that everything is working the way that it should. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to scroll back up here, and I am going to click on the dashboard on the left here. And so once I'm in here, again, I can scroll down to the bottom here, and I can take a look at my class here, which is the Intro to College Writing, and I'm going to click on that. Okay. So for the first time, it's going to give you a little tour, and I am going to click out of this tour. And I don't suggest that you do that, but I have been through this tour before, and I suggest that you go through that short tutorial as well. So if we take a look at this first screen, notice down here at the bottom, we have 7 bubbles. And the first bubble is blue. So the first bubble indicates that that is week 1. So anything below that bubble, these are all week 1 materials, okay? And so as you complete things, for example, you will click on Mark as Done, and that will check it off your list so that you know that you've completed it. Your instructor knows that you've completed it, and if it was something that you were required to turn in, then your instructor knows that they need to be looking out for that, okay? So, for example, we'll go back to the top here, and we have announcements that pertain just for this class. Here is a handout for 25 writing errors, and notice to the left, the icon has that blue W, and that is the Microsoft Word icon. It should look familiar if you've used Microsoft Word before. So at a glance, you can take a look at that. There's another one here for syllabus and schedule. At a glance, you can look at that and see that, oh, that's a Microsoft Word document. And if you don't have a Microsoft Word document, then you can still view it, but you would have to use another program. So if you have a Mac, you can use Pages, or push come to shove, you can use Notes. And if you're struggling, if you open that and it doesn't look proper, then reach out to your instructor. So in my case, my instructor is Dr. Funk. I would reach out to him and say, Dr. Funk, I clicked on the syllabus and schedule and it doesn't look right. Can you help me with that? And chances are what he would do is he would send you another copy of this, but perhaps in a PDF. So I'm going to scroll down here. And so for week 1, class is on 10/13, which is a Wednesday. And here are the things that we are going to do for the first day. We are going to go over an introduction, then talk about the course syllabus and the schedule. Then we're going to talk about the introduction to topic sentences. And then we will complete a pre-assessment in Moodle. Our homework, HW, we will read the course syllabus and write questions you have and prepare to share on Monday, which is the next class session. So in here we have a video. And so we just click on that little play button here at the top left, and that will play the video. Okay, next thing is we have a pre-assessment here. Okay, notice that it is a piece of paper with a red check mark, which indicates that that is a test or a quiz. So anytime you see that that paper with a red mark or a red check mark, that indicates that it is a test or a quiz. Scrolling down here, these next couple handouts, notice that it's a piece of paper with a globe, which indicate that that is a web link. So if I click on that, that will open up a website. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down, and that's what we have here. So if I click on that, we'll see if it opens up properly. Okay, this is the website, and it opens up right in Moodle. And I can click on the video here and I can go through and I can take a look at this resource here. I am going to click back. Okay, and when I've gone through and I have taken a look at that resource, I can go ahead and click on Mark as Done, and notice that I get a green check mark and it says Done. Okay, now I click it again and it goes back to saying that, Mike hasn't completed this and I haven't completed the assignment, so I need to do that at some point. Okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on the pre-assessment. Okay, so I click on that, and this is going to give a little tour of how you complete this. And again, I suggest that you do it. I'm going to click out of here. And so when you're ready, you're going to click on Attempt Quiz. Okay. And then here are the directions for this quiz. And then I go through and read this paragraph, and then I will respond accordingly. And when I'm done, I would hit Next Page. And you go through and you do that until you're done. On the right-hand side, it says quiz navigation. So this particular quiz has 7 questions. And so right now in the box that says 1, it's highlighted in a dark black square here, indicating that I'm on the first question. And then when I'm on 2, then it will do the same for question 2. It will highlight that in the dark black there. So I'm going to hit back here. And now I'm back at our main page. So sometimes these links will, or these bubbles rather, They will be grayed out in that you can't click on them. So if you can't click on it, so for example, here I'm at 7 and it says week 7 editing and review. If I can't click on that, that means my instructor has hidden that week from me. So I can't look at it until the instructor has released that for viewing. But in this example, all the weeks, all the lessons are available to take a look at. Okay. So if you are not sure of what the assignment is looking at, so or what it is requiring. So for example, this draft of introduction paragraph, if I click on that and I'm looking at this and I thought, I really don't know what it's asking for, then you need to reach out to your instructor and say, you know what, I'm looking at the assignment that's labeled draft of introductory paragraph. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Reach out to the instructor and they will guide you. In this particular example, um, I'm being asked to put together an assignment in a document and then submit that document. So what I would do is I would come here, I'd click on add submission, and then I can do one of two things. I can either plop it in here, just drag and drop into this text box here, or I can click in here and then use the file picker and navigate to where my assignment is saved, whether it's on my computer or my flash drive, and upload it then. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back. So I highly recommend that if your instructor has allowed, that you take a look a week in advance at what your work is going to be like so that you have an idea of, week 1, I just have a handful of assignments where I need to go and take a look at some websites and read the information. But, maybe week 2, I have a lot of work that I have to actually submit. So if I take a look here, this test and paragraph writing video, notice that this icon is a little bit different. So that is indicating that that is a video. Scrolling down, notice that the icon for drafted introductory paragraph, that has a piece of paper with a handout. That means that I have to submit something to my instructor as a file. But week 2 doesn't look so bad. So, always be looking out ahead so that you don't get caught off guard of what your week is going to look like, the current week and the next week. Okay. So the other thing that we can do is on the left-hand side, we have our navigation bar, and this pertains to this particular class. So I can go and I can click on participants, and I can get an idea of who is in my class. So Dr. Funk is my instructor, and I have other people that are in this class. And notice that it indicates in parentheses who a student is and who a faculty member is. We have an icon here for badges, and we don't use badges, so I'm not going to go over something that we don't use. We don't use competencies either. But if we go in and take a look at grades, this is where we can go in and we can take a look at my grades. So I'm only seeing my grades. I'm not seeing anybody else. So for this semester, there are a total of 1,490 points. And so far, I have 0 points. If this is week 5 out of a 6-week program and I have 0 points, I'd be sweating it. But you can go in and you can take a look at where you stand for grades. And this, again, will also tell you what you've turned in and what has been graded so far. Okay. So we can go over here. The next category is general information. And so this is just general information that my instructor has put out there for me to review. And then on the nav bar, we can go in and we can take a look at things week by week from here as well. Notice that the bubbles are still here, but I can go over here on the nav bar on the left here, and that'll take me to that particular week. And then we have the same icons here as we did from our homepage. So we have our dashboard, calendar, private files, and so on. Okay, so that is just a brief introduction to Moodle. If you have a question for your instructor, so again, I had used the example that, hey, I don't know what this assignment is asking for me. What do I do? Well, I can go over here to participants. I can click on my instructor, and then here is his email address. Here is a website that he has, and it tells me a little bit more about him. But I can go over here and I can click on message next to his name, and I can go ahead and write a message and say, okay, Dr. Funk, I need help. And he'll get that. He'll get it in Moodle, and he'll also get it in his email address. And that goes for you as a student as well. If somebody messages you in Moodle, it'll be available for you to review in Moodle and respond to in Moodle, but it'll also come in through your personal email saying, hey, you have a message waiting for you in Moodle. Okay, so this is the first part of how we deliver materials through our VUB classes. We use Moodle. Moodle is used through the uh, University of Montana side of the college system. So, for example, University of Montana, Missoula uses Moodle. I believe Butte uses Moodle. Helena College uses Moodle. There's several of them in Montana that uses Moodle, and throughout the United States and the world. MSU Billings, for example, uses Desire to Learn or Brightspace. They're all very similar, but they just work a little bit differently. Okay, so the next thing that I'd like to talk to you about is how we use Google Meet. And Google Meet is how we deliver the live instruction, the audio and video portion. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and I'm going to share a different resource here for you. So when you are in a class, you will receive several emails. So if you're, for example, if you're taking 3 classes online with us, then you will receive 3 different emails. And so for each class, you will receive an email that will say the class name. So it's indicating you have been invited to the following event. Event really isn't the proper word here. You would replace event with class. But the class is Introduction to College Writing, and it meets weekly from 9 a.m. to 10:30 on Monday, Wednesday, starting on October 13th and finishing on November 23rd. That is when our 6-week sessions start and end for this particular program here for fall 2021. This is Veterans Upward Bound, and it is being delivered from our Billings office on 1500 University Drive, and that really doesn't mean anything to you. Okay, then we have joining information. So it says join with Google Meet, and here is the link for that. Okay. If we're not able to join through a microphone on our computer, we can call this number here and then enter this PIN information, and then we can participate with audio this method. Okay. And then calendar, it tells us where it was sent to, and then who the instructor is. And then down below, it says all events in this series. It is asking us, are you going to attend? You need to click yes for that. Okay. So by clicking yes, you're acknowledging that you're going to participate in this class and that you will get the proper reminders and the proper access really to go into that room or that class. Okay. So once you do that, okay, I'm going to go back to my other window here. So when you click on that link from that email, and you want to save that email. Oh, I don't want you to see my ugly face. Okay, so when you want to save that email so that when each class, on those Mondays and Wednesdays, that you have that link to get in there and start participating in the class. So don't delete the email. Put it somewhere where you'll remember it. Okay. And so when I click on the link, I'm presented with a couple of options. The first option over here is microphone, and then the second option over here is the video, the camera. And when they're red, that means they're turned off or disabled. And when they're more of a grayish color, then that means they're turned on and enabled. The next button we have over here is Join Now. So when we click on Join Now, then it brings us into the class. So again, we have those same buttons here on the bottom left, or actually it's center, but on the left side we have the microphone, video, closed captioning. If you have a question, you can raise your hand, the present now, and then more option, and then to leave the call. Then going further to the right, we have the meeting details button, show everyone, and this is where we can go and click on that, and it shows everybody that is in the room. And then the next button is the chat button. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and chat. And then the next button is activities. You may or may not have all of these buttons. Some instructors hide some of these buttons, and some of them are just not available to students at all. So don't be worried if you don't see all these options. But in the middle of this screen here, you will see your instructor. So whether they are using a presentation, you will see that presentation there. If they're using their video camera, you will see the video portion, or if they're using a document camera, you will see the document in the center of the screen here. So that's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, you can reach VUB tech support, and you can reach that information by going back into Moodle. Okay. And if we go in here and scroll to the bottom, oh, it's not there. At the very bottom, there will be a login and contact information here. I'll make sure that it is visible, but it will have the tech support information there, the phone number to email, and reach out to tech support. Reach out to your instructors whenever you're struggling. So thank you for watching, and have a good class, a good semester.